What's up, y'all? It's Ty. In this video today, we're going to be going over talking about the new cards that came out today and just kind of the overall market, where it's at. Is the market high? Is the market low? Now, I will say the only real change that happened as far as the pack odds are that if you do spend $100 on this box, you are guaranteed a dark matter card. Now, again, does that matter? Well, kind of, because the prices of these dark matters should continue to go down and down. Now, again, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about some of the other dark matters. Where I'm at, you guys can see I'm already to level 16. Now, obviously, I've got a lot still to grind, a lot more to go, but I'm trying to get to level 40 by the time these are out, so I can add 2 dark matters to the squad. I am going to wait to open the dark matter packs, and if you're wondering why, to hopefully make a good video on them, me opening them up, and hopefully, you know, you guys are having good luck with them as well if you are grinding those things out. But all of these things should drop down the prices right now. People are getting unsellable dark matters if they are, you know, if they did buy their way to obviously level 40 or are grinding their way to there. People are getting dark matters out of packs. So overall, the prices of dark matters should be going way, way, way down. Let's talk about it. Dark matters, search the filter. You guys can see Jeremy Lin is literally expiring for 100,000 coins. So I wouldn't be surprised if by the time you guys are seeing this video, we are seeing a buyable dark matter in Jeremy Lin. Danny Granger, pretty cheap. Terry, pretty cheap. And it's not a surprise, even like Brandon Ingram, and Carlo's kind of right about Brandon Ingram, he's really good, is super cheap as well. And so, you know, I didn't know if the market would go down a ton or not. The market is going to continue to go down. It was one thing that I wasn't necessarily sure of. And I will say, as far as like grinding the game modes this season, all you get is dark matters. You don't get any 100 overalls. And so that's really what's going to hurt is the prices of dark matters. As far as 100 overalls are concerned, those prices are still probably going to be high for the foreseeable future. But the one thing is, like, it's dark matters tank season. I mean, that is really what we are going to see. Now, certain dark matters will still have a lot of value. Some of the best ones in the game, like a Dr. J, like, let's say, a Giannis, a LeBron James, Shea. These are cards that are obviously really good, that are going to still hold some value. But this is really what's to note, in my opinion, today, is a lot of these cards and their prices are losing a lot of their value. Now, again, Wemby, Pink Diamond Wemby, the best cards in the game are still going to be really, really, really high. They're still going to be super expensive as it stands right now. But some of these Galaxy Opals, like a Dino Radja, looks relatively affordable. Anton Jameson, another really good Galaxy Opal, looks somewhat affordable. Robert Covington, an absolute stud, looks somewhat affordable. And so these are the things that if I'm you guys, I'm probably really excited about. You know, the prices of some of these Galaxy Opals should be super, super, super cheap. So if you wanted like an Anton Jameson, we can look at him too quick. Obviously, right about 50,000 MT at the time I'm recording this thing. But guess what? The card is absolutely elite at that small forward position. And it's the same thing for a guy like Dino Radja at the power forward position. Now, obviously, Tim Duncan's good. Obviously, I got Moses Malone, so I don't really need Dino. But Dino is super good as it stands, is a power forward that if you pick up, should hold it down for the foreseeable future. And this is something that, you know, down the road, I think is important as well, because if people are getting guaranteed dark matters if they do open up this fan favorites pack, the prices of some of these cards should, you know, continue to slowly go down. It's not going to be anything crazy, but they should continue to go down as we do see more and more cards added into the game. And another thing for me is like, okay, so if I grind out and I already got a dark matter from here, I got John Wall from the Pro Pass, I'm going to get Tim Duncan, and I got Moses Malone. So you're getting all these free cards added to your squad. And I don't know how good this J-Dub is. I'm kind of grinding domination just for the sole fact of, guess what? You make a little MT, you get some good progress as far as the season. So I'm somewhat grinding domination as well. If I had J-Dub in my squad, who else am I going to need? I'm just going to need a couple of plug-and-play options. But that's another reason some of these guys are probably tanking in price. Some of, especially like the power forward center position. If somebody gets Moses Malone and Tim Duncan, their power forward position is solidified. They don't need some of these top dogs in the game anymore at that position because theirs are good enough. And so that's something to kind of keep in the back of your guys' minds as well, is as we do get more and more of these cards, as people start getting that level 40 done, as people start, grinding more and more of the game, These are the things that are important to keep in the back of your minds. Again, I don't necessarily love J-Dub. I don't necessarily think J-Dub is like game-breaking good, just for his height more importantly than anything. But at the end of the day, I mean, the card is probably going to be somewhat affordable just for the sole fact of, not the card, but the shooting guard positions are going to be somewhat affordable just because a lot of people are going to get J-Dub. And if somebody gets J-Dub, guess what? They absolutely should be using that card. And so those are the things that I've got in the back of my mind as far as the market is concerned. I'm eager to see what comes out on Tuesday, because I think that kind of helps, solidify where we're going to be at as far as the market as well. Like, if we see super packs on Tuesday, we know what this season's going to be like. And it wouldn't surprise me if that is what we saw. Meanwhile, if we see more content on Tuesday, which I hope is the case, then obviously that changes things just that little bit. But that is just another thing to kind of keep in the back of your guys' minds is, guess what? Yeah, we got all these fun cards, these cool cards. Yeah, it seems like the market's down. But if this is followed up by super packs on Tuesday, then the market is just going to continue to kind of be in shambles. And people ask me all the time, like, Ty, should you sell your cards right now? Like, again, I don't know, because it's just, I'm holding on to some of my guys, at least some of the guys I really like, just because, again, I don't know what's coming on Tuesday. I don't think it is a great time to sell right now. I think it's a better time to sell now than it was, let's say, 24 hours ago. But I still don't think it is a great time at the end of the day to sell. So kind of the approach that I'm taking is hold on to some of my top dogs. Grind out the game, see who I get from, the 95 overall option pack, obviously the dark matter pack as well. See who I get from there, and then make decisions on who I want to play on my squad, who I want to keep for my squad, those types of things. But that's just kind of the approach that I'm taking. Not necessarily that it's the right way or wrong way, but just the approach I am taking. Now, if I were you guys and let's say you really want Tim Thomas, go get yourself, whoever you want today. Like for me, I really like Robert Covington. Guess what? I can go sit on a Covington, snipe filter for 2 minutes and get the pink diamond Robert Covington for cheaper than he's going for. Because again, these cards are flying out of packs. These cards are not rare. They're super common, especially, pink diamonds and below. These are cards that are going to not only be cheap, but stay cheap. And I think this shows how many people are truly opening packs with how cheap this Robert Covington card is. And again, this Rocco card is a card that can compete at the very highest level. So you guys see his price is 3,000 MT. All you gotta do is sit on this filter for 5 minutes max, and you're gonna be able to find one for, let's say, like 2,700, somewhere in there, right? Somewhere cheaper than that 3,000 MT mark. And if you buy him for that price, you're not really risking anything, right? So if I wanted Covington, I'd buy him for that 2,700, and you're really not risking anything. Another thing you guys can obviously do is sit on this fan favorites cheap filter, because again, the lowest overall in this set is what? It's a diamond, and so the cards aren't going to get, cheaper than, let's say, 1,000 MT, and anything you see for 1,000 MT, you absolutely buy. So this could be another filter that you guys sit on as fan favorites for cheap, and then you've got all of your options available. So it could be a decent day to work the auction house as well. Try to get cards for cheaper than they're ultimately going for. And again, build your squad with these fan favorites cards. Whether it is, Justice Winslow, whether it is Robert Covington, whether it is Dante Exum. The list goes on and on of these really solid, really good fan favorite cards that you guys can pick up that can absolutely help your squad out. And again, if a Galaxy Opal Dark Matter happens to pop up, guess what? You are sitting there waiting for it to happen. So that's just kind of another thing that you guys can keep in the back of your mind with the market uncertainty and not necessarily knowing what's going to happen in the long run, is just know deep down that, guess what? At the end of the day, all these cards for 1,200, should be fine. Because guess what? At the end of the day, right now, I can go sell them for 1,400, which is slight profit. It's not a lot of profit at the end of the day, but it is slight profit. You got to be careful because I can't get them, for anything more than that. But if you do get cards for, that 1,200 MT, right now at the time I'm recording this, that's kind of the break-even point. But even Poku for 1,200, Pat Burke, these are cards that absolutely can compete at a decently high level that you guys can ultimately have fun with. Dean Wade, Simbular. These are things that, again, you guys can sit on this filter if you want. But again, it's kind of risky because you got to wait for them to clear and then you got to go put them up. But I do think it is probably worth your time to do. So market uncertainty is definitely there. It is a good time to buy some of these new cards for sure. Some of the older cards that are kind of like not necessarily as exciting as they used to be have lost some value as well. So just something to keep in the back of your minds. Wait on Tuesday, see if we got super packs, stuff like that. That will determine a lot with the auction house. Drop a like on the video, guys. Subscribe if you are new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.